Let's continue with the rest of the unit tests related to the customer controller. In our customer controller, we have the get all customers endpoint. So let's go ahead and write the unit test for the get all customers REST API. So in this case, we have two scenarios. We can have a list of customers returned, and maybe there can be a empty list of customers returned. So we can add a positive scenario first. For get all customers REST API, so we are going to call uh, get all customers method of customer service. Before calling that method, we have to give a list of customer DTO list, because when we call this get all customers, it should return a list of customer DTOs. So to return a list of customers DTOs, we have to give a stub call to return that customer list. So let me give the name, the given section as given customer DTO list, and we are going to call get all customers. Then it should return a customer DTO list. And as usual, we need to add this throws exception. In the precondition, we have to create a array list of customer DTOs, and then we have to use that list in the stubbing call uh, when we use the given. So we already have a customer DTO in our setup method. So I'm going to create one more customer DTO object. Next, I'm going to create here a list of customer DTOs. Let me add the two customer DTO objects to the list. Next, I will write the stubbing. I'm going to use the given here. Given, we are going to call customer service, and we are going to call the get all customers. And when we call that, it should return this list of customers. In the when section, I'm going to use mock MVC, and then I will use the perform, and inside the perform method, we have to use the mock MVC results builders dot. Now we have to use the get. Earlier we used post. Now we are using get, and we need to pass the URI. So we know to get all customers, we have to use this base URL. So I'm going to pass that base URL to the get, and this will return a object of result actions. So I will take the result into the result actions reference variable called response. So now we have the result actions object in our variable response. In the verifying the output section, we are going to verify the output, and we will use the response object here, and we will use an expect just like before, and I'm going to use mock MVC result matches, and then we can check for the status first. And when we use the get call, the status should be okay, 200 okay. So we will use status is okay, and also we can use the undo to print the request and response to the console. So I'm going to use undo, then I will use mock MVC result handlers, and then print. Next, I'm going to use one more and expect, and this time I'm going to check the response, and in the response we can check for the size of the uh, size of the list. So I will use mock MVC result matches again, and then I will use JSON path, and here I'm going to use $sign. Then we can access the size by using this, and we can use the core matches dot is from Hamcrest, and inside this is we are going to use the list of customers dot size. we are going to compare the size of the response, size of the list in the response against the list of customers, list of customers, and we are going to check the size of that, and we compare those two. So let's run this test case and see. We can see the test case has passed. So if we go to this in the console, we can see the request. It shows get request, and it shows the request URI, and it is showing which method of controller that we call, which endpoint we call, and in the response also it is showing the status as 200, and shows the application slash JSON as the content type, and it shows the response with data in it. So let's go to the next test case, which is the negative scenario for get all customers REST API. So in the negative scenario, we are going to pass an empty customer DTO list, and we are going to still call the get all customers REST API, and it should then return empty customer DTO list. So here I'm going to use given empty customer DTO list when get all customers, then return empty customer DTO list. So in the given section, I can simply create a list of customer DTO, and I will give the same name as before, list of customers, and it should be a array list, and we are not going to add any customer DTO objects to this list because it should be an empty list. So here I'm going to use the stubbing. We will use the given again, and we are going to call the customer service dot get all customers, and then it will return a collections dot empty list. So that's the stubbing, and in the when section we will use the mock MVC dot perform, and let me pass the mock MVC result builders, and then get, and as the URI I can pass the same URI, and let's take the response to result actions. like this. Okay, it is complaining about unhandled exception. So we forgot to add the throws here. Throws exception. And let's write the uh, output, verify the output section next. So we are going to use the response, and then I'm going to print first the request and the response. Mock MVC result handlers dot print, and then I'm going to use dot and expect, and we are going to use the mock MVC result matches, and let's use JSON path, and dollar. We are going to use the size again, and we are checking the size against the uh, size of the list of customers object. So we will use the core matches dot is from Hamcrest, and list of customers dot size. Let's run the test case again and see the result. We can see the test case has passed. So if we look at the console, it shows the request, get request, URI, and method, and the response, it is showing the status 200, and headers, content type. Let's write the test case for the next endpoint. So we have the get customer by ID as the next endpoint. So let's add the BDD style structure first. So we are going to write the test case for the positive scenario first. Positive scenario means when there is a customer with that ID in our database. So for that, if we look at the customer controller, we are passing customer ID as the parameter for the get customer by ID method. So here we can give given as given customer ID, and then we are going to call get customer by ID. Then it should return a customer DTO object. Let me add the throws exception. And in the precondition section, I'm going to give the customer ID. Let me give the customer ID as this 1L. And we already created a customer DTO in the setup method. So let me write the stubbing call here. So it should be given and customer service dot get customer by ID, and let's pass the customer ID, and then it will return customer DTO, which we created in our setup method. So in the when section, let's call the perform of mock MVC. Mock MVC request builders dot get, and we have to use this base URL first. And after the base URL, in our get customer by ID method, we are using a path variable, which is the customer ID. So we will have to give like this slash ID, and to this get method as the second parameter, we are going to give what will be assigned to this ID. So it should be this. So we should take it into a result actions reference variable. In the then section, let's use this response, and I will call an expect and mock MVC result matches, and let's check the status first. Status should be okay, so let's check for is okay. Next, let's print the request and response using undo mock MVC result handlers dot print, then use the and expect again. JSON path. Here we can check for first name or last name. So let me check for the customer first name. So in our customer DTO, we have this one as the field. So in our response also, it should appear as a field. So let's check for customer first name, and co-matches dot is from Hamcrest, and our customer DTO, then get customer first name. Okay, let's run the test case and see the result. So we can see the test case has passed, and it is showing all uh, the request and response details here. Let's write the negative scenario for get customer by ID REST API. So negative scenario means when we pass the customer ID, it is not going to return any valid customer. So in this case, we can give the name as given invalid customer ID when get customer by ID, then it should return a resource not found exception. So return resource not found exception, and let's add the throws here, throws exception. And in the given section, I will add invalid customer ID. I will add it as 99, and let me add the stubbing here. We are going to use given and customer service dot get customer by ID, and let's pass invalid customer ID, and then it will return. Actually, instead of using it will return, we have to use here will throw. So because it is going to throw an exception of type resource not found. So will throw new resource not found exception, and let's pass customer, and then second argument is customer ID, and the third one is invalid customer ID. So that's the stubbing call. So in the when section, let's use mock MVC dot perform and mock MVC request builders dot get, and let me pass the same base URL with the path variable as /id, and here I will pass invalid customer ID as the second argument for this get, and that's the mock MVC call, and it should return object of result actions. So in then section, we are going to use this response, and let's check for the status first. Mock MVC result matches dot status. If we return, if we throw a new resource not found exception, the status should be not found. So let's check for the not found status, and let's print the request and response to the console. Okay, let's run this test case also and see the result. We can see the test case has passed, and if we look at the console, you can see the request, uh, and here we can see resolved exception, and it shows the resolved exception as resource not found exception, and we can see the status as 404, and we can see the body of the response with the record as resource not found.